Hello Chain Gang, and welcome back to the 4 Chains Travel. And on this channel we spend a lot of time visiting bucket list destinations. And it seems like everybody has or should have the Amalfi Coast on their bucket list. And the top of their Amalfi Coast agenda is Positano. But it's almost unanimously agreed by people who have visited there that Positano is not a good home base for exploring all the Amalfi Coast has to offer. And so the question is where? The town of Amalfi is less expensive than Positano, and it is more walkable, but it is still very expensive and very busy. So the question is, what is the best town for your home base? I would say that if you are engaging in slow travel or retirement travel, you should choose Salerno. It's not even technically part of the Amalfi Coast, but it's where a lot of people enter the Amalfi Coast from the Naples airport, and it's where most Italians who work on the Amalfi Coast live. So if you want an authentic experience, I would suggest there. But if you're only going to be there for a week or less, and if you want to hit all of the sites, you should consider Minori, or where we're going to show you today, Maiori, and we are going to explain why, as well as show you a lot of these sites. Now, originally, we were going to stay in Minori, but that wound up being an Airbnb disaster, as Airbnb situations often turn into. We will tell that story later when we evaluate the value of Airbnb versus a hotel. We wound up unintentionally staying in Maiori and absolutely fell in love with the town. A couple quick notes on transportation. Almost everybody gets to the Amalfi Coast by flying into Naples and then taking a bus. At the Naples airport, there is actually a really good pizza restaurant, and it has an outstanding panzerotti, which is what you see here. Not as good as Panzerotti da Torino, which is in Ostuni, which is the world's best, but much better than you'd expect. If you are traveling to the Amalfi Coast from somewhere in Europe or from inside another location in Italy, you are almost certainly going to be transferring in Salerno and then getting a bus. When you're doing that, we actually recommend eating at Poke Zero, which we have a few times now. Don't worry, you're going to have plenty of opportunity at Italian food, and this is a really good choice at the combined rail and bus station.
Poke Zero, we love this place, and we're going to be in Italy for 6 months, so it's okay to have some meals that are not Italian. And if you saw our original Amalfi video, you know we love Poke Zero. And they have the All You Need Is Love shirts here. Good message, because in gli Stati Uniti ho bisogno molto amare.
Yeah.
And for those of you who have subscribed to us since the beginning, we are back at Poke Zero, and I wish I would have seen this graphic first. Oh well.
Tutto ciò di cui hai bisogno è l'amore.
Sì. And a drink, caffè americano, and Leia got the Aranciata Rossa Biologica, which is blood orange soda. And then I got the same thing I got last time. Sorry, viewers. I got the salmon poke bowl, and Leia got the tuna poke bowl, and Angie got...
I got the potato guns, which is scrambled eggs, cherry tomatoes, bacon, sweet potato fries.
Man,
Yeah.
mine was delicious, but I already knew that. Leia,
Thank you. Okay.
thumbs up. And Angie, you got something different. How was that?
Yeah, it's good. I liked what I got this time better than what I got last time.
Okay, so Salerno, it's the transportation port. So if you're going to Amalfi, even if you're not staying in Salerno, you will probably be in Salerno and get off the train there, and all you need is love and pochi zero.
I am going to do an entire video later on how to choose an accommodation in Amalfi and throughout Italy. I'll touch on it only briefly now. I gave my daughter the choice of either Minori or Maiori because of their similarity in value, and she chose the Sapphire House Sea View, which is a non-refundable booking that I understand. What I didn't know was it is not refundable even if they canceled the booking. We got switched to a far inferior place in Maiori, which was right next to a church bell, had an enormous amount of stairs to climb, did not have heat, did not have hot water, did not have TV, and the internet had a range of about 5 feet. But other than the accommodations, Maiori was absolutely awesome. Now, one of the reasons I chose Minori or Maiori was because they are both on either side of a hike I wanted to take called the Path of Lemons. Now, this isn't the other famous hike in the Amalfi Coast, which is a Path of the Gods. That is from a different area and is not accessible to people that aren't in fantastic shape, so I thought Path of Lemons was the best choice. I'm going to show you some of the footage here. Both walks are beautiful, but the Path of Lemons is easier because it's shorter. It's only an hour and a half, as you can see here, as opposed to 4 hours with the Path of the Gods. There are some tips that'll help, however. From the Corso Regina in Maiori, you climb up these stairs, and this is your first lemon grove, and it is a lot of stairs. Okay, we're headed up there. This is an important point. When you get to this point, it looks like you go there because these look like stairs to people's houses, but actually that is the path that you want to follow, and you want to keep looking for these signs. Another reason this is a more accessible hike is the enormous amount of breaks available, and they're nice breaks with great views. Just keep following these signs, follow the shade. This is the only free water path, but we also stopped at Golden Dream Farms to look at these sheep, and that wasn't all the farm had to offer. Oh, you can hang out with Lemon the cat, and you can have lemon biscuits and limonata, real lemonade. And just after Golden Dream, look at how this is the most dense lemons we've seen yet. And here, in the walk to the agriculture center, it's truly the path part of Path to Lemons because they are on all sides, above you, to the side, to the right, and to the left. You get the idea. The entire hike is beautiful, the lemons are bountiful, and at the top you can enjoy a delicious lemon ice, and that particular restaurant has a bathroom that's free. From there you have the option of walking down the path and going to Minori, or returning the way you came back to Maiori. If you return to Minori, you can either take the bus home or you can take the ferry home, and they both have their delights. The best thing we have ever used the ferry or the bus for is to attend the Amalfi Heaven Gardens cooking class, but we covered that class in depth on our video last week covering the best day we have ever had in 20 years of Italy visits. The most popular destination on the ferry or the bus is, of course, Positano. Positano has a breathtaking shoreline, but also a couple of restaurants with the best views of any restaurants, arguably, on planet Earth. The prize for the second best view would go to Legali Bistro. When you arrive at Positano at the port, you head up the cliff to the right. There are stairs, but it is steep. Why would you consider the second best view? Well, they do not close for the siesta the way number 1 does.
If you are been a subscriber for a long time, you know there's a restaurant we love in Positano that has the best view in, I guess, the world. But we have found a suitable alternative here. As you see, Delicioso Acqua Pellegrino. That is the restaurant from before. If we have it in our archives, I'll try to put in a clip of it. But this is Positano. Might be nice to have one of those boats, huh? We are at Ligali Bistro. They have inside tables, but obviously what you want is one of these tables on the end. A lot of people don't know about this because it's not necessarily one of the tourist restaurants. So if this is what you want, then Google Maps the directions and scoot up here right away and you will beat the ferry crowd. Angie's getting a birra, and Leia got a lemon spritz. And I got Pellegrino water. I'm not like these boozy Susies over here. Okay, I have decided to get the gnocchi with mixed seafood, gnocchi alla vongole. Frutti di mare. Leia got the spaghetti alla vongole because Leia will not be in Florence with us to get it at Il Borgo Antico, unfortunately. And Angie has gotten the rigatoni with what?
Con formaggio.
Oh, formaggio, which is cheese. And
Crema
some sort of meat.
con formaggio.
With some sort of meat, right? No? Okay, well anyways, it looks delicious.
So as you can see, the food was really, really good, and the view was really, really great. But what you see in this clip is Angie pointing out to our daughter Leia the other restaurant we're going to feature that has even better food and has an even better view. And the name of that restaurant is Lo Guaracino. To get to this restaurant, you can use map walking directions. There are some signs, but I can tell you that when you leave the port, the first thing you should do is head up the cliff on the stairs to the left. Now, you can see they are closed for siesta. The only reason we got this video is because they agreed to open up the terrace for us and one other couple during siesta. And I won't go into it in depth because we covered it already in our restaurant tour of Italy video, but suffice to say there are two fantastic choices with fantastic views when you hit Positano, but there are other attractions. Amalfi is the second most popular city on the Amalfi Coast. It's beautiful at night, which is what I recommend. You can chill watching the sea or at the churches, or you can shop the really nice shops. But you know what? There is plenty in Maiori by itself to enjoy, and we're going to focus on that. Our first joy actually started as a shock. We arrived in Maiori on Good Friday, and I look across the street and see this. I was absolutely flabbergasted, and then immediately remembered those Australian cruise ship employees that had no idea their outfits looked like the Ku Klux Klan, because that was not part of their culture and is obviously not part of the Italian culture, because nobody batted an eye at this. We left the area and then learned about the outfits and returned at night to see that the processions and the celebrations were still going on, and it actually was kind of joyous. And although there was a joyous feeling certainly in the crowd and in the procession, I certainly understand that it is a very different type of culture than ours. And I hope nobody is offended by this, but I will show you just a little bit more of it. And if you don't like it, feel free to fast forward as we get into the restaurant scene of Maiori. For those of you unfamiliar with the procession, this is the Virgin Mary or Mary Magdalene. And this represents, that's Jesus there in the red, bearing the cross, and walking up to his eventual execution by Pontius Pilate. And then again, we see the Virgin Mary being carried behind him. As we mentioned in last week's video about our best day ever on the Amalfi Coast, don't get coffee at the tourist shops on the water. We walked a couple blocks inland to Cafe Marcel. We got a different croissant every day. Leia got a cappuccino. Angie always gets a cappuccino and a shot of espresso to pour in it. I get a cappuccino and a shot of pistachio espresso to pour in it. That's the best combination. In addition to croissants, they also have sandwiches. Leia got a tomato mozzarella, and I got prosciutto, capicola, and mozzarella, and we saw a dog of the vlog. It is common practice by Italians after they have a meal to take a passeggiata, which is a walk where they normally walk a little bit slower than we do in the United States, and they just enjoy the scenery. Maiori is a particularly wonderful place to do that, and you can see why here. This is the morning after we had that exact breakfast, and it just really put us in such a great mood and such a great headspace. So I'll let you soak it in for a minute here. Now, if you take a passeggiata after dinner, a great restaurant to do so is El Dorado. This is the view of the same beach from the El Dorado restaurant. We're going to take you there now. The beach is in the back of the restaurant. This is a view of the front. It is on the main drag, essentially across the street from Corso Regina, which is the place where most of the residences are located. And of course, we had to start out with some delicious spritzes and a beer.
How is that compared to Jujubes? Or Junior Mints, I mean.
Junior mints. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was
this is
setting
really
up a line for you.
It's delicious.
And also,
Refreshing.
there you
Well, who's gonna turn down a junior mint? It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's delicious. That's true. It's very refreshing.
We chose the fried seafood platter because it was recommended and it was good, but you can check out the menu right here and decide whether there's other things you might like. The most recommended restaurant by the locals was Al Mare. It had this wonderful outdoor seating. It didn't have a great TripAdvisor rating, but we weigh heavily on the opinions of locals. We didn't sit in that great seating because there was a DJ that was playing very loudly for over an hour, one single song, and that song was called Do You Like Bass in Your Blank Blank Face? And I can't print it here because it is a profanity. Okay, we're here at Al Mare. This was recommended to us by the person that we got our Airbnb with. I am having champagne and brandy, something I never would have considered. What you see there is a little white thing, that's a sugar cube dissolving, and there's a cherry, of course. Angie got vodka and gin and lemon soda, because this lemon soda we loved when we were in Milan, even though we did not necessarily love Milan. And then Leia got, she got the vodka and the same lemon soda. So we'll let you know how these are.
When I heard lemon soda.
Okay, I only got this for you guys because normally I don't like champagne, but I was intrigued by the drink, which I've never had. Leia thought it was not great. Angie thought it was okay, but she'd rather have an old-fashioned. And I kind of feel the same way as Angie. And now, if you saw our Milan video where we taught you how to do an oliera, that is what we're doing here with the bread. I cannot use the video from our meal because that song was playing in the background, but I got this spaghetti with frutti di mare, and Angie and Leia both got two different kinds of pizzas, both of which they enjoyed very much. Now, there are two choices for you to do after dinner. One of them is certainly not you're done consuming calories, you can either have limoncello, and there's plenty of options everywhere in the Amalfi Coast, or you can have gelato. This is actually the gelato from the El Dorado, or you could have both. For our retirement traveler subscribers, they may rule out Amalfi because of the cost, and I get that, but as you can see, the 39-cent hot dogs and the $1.99 wine, which was actually really good, there is a grocery option in Amalfi, and a lot of the groceries are enormously cheaper for the same items you would have in a restaurant, and they also have this weird vending situation. I guess you would describe these as adult vending machines. They contain wine and beer. In this one, you do have to have a card that confirms your age to be able to purchase these things. I imagine there's pretty easy workarounds for kids. I hope they don't use it. This machine even steps up the adult. It has what purports to be cannabis, although I can assure you that is CBD and not THC, as we've seen that in shops around Europe. And then they have gummies, which is probably also CBD. That is actually, they advertise as hashish. I know hash was a thing when I was a kid, but I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what it is. In conclusion, whether you are traveling to the Amalfi Coast by ferry or by bus, consider Maiori as your home base to travel the wonderful cities. And if you're in Maiori, don't let one of their famous wall lizards be the early bird that gets the worm. Hit Cafe Marcel for the best coffee in town, and then take a stroll, either along their beautiful morning beaches, or if you're feeling ambitious, take the path of lemons, see the lemons and see the wonderful sheep that welcome you. Then take local recommendations and have some great restaurant food. And if you're open to other cultures, enjoy the religious processions that sometimes head down the main drag. And remember, we actually left out of this video our absolute best day in Maiori, because we posted that in a video last week, which I feel might be our best video ever. So please check that out and like and subscribe to the 4 Chains Travel.